AMD confirms it's focusing on mainstream segment first with RDNA for GPUs in order to compete against NVIDIA. AMD believes that competing in the enthusiast GPU segment hasn't done much for them, will now focus upon gaining more users. Rumors surrounding AMD's RDNA 4 lineup claimed that the companies wouldn't be going the enthusiast route with its upcoming RDNA RX 8000 RDNA 4 GPU family as one of the high-end Navi chips. The Navi 4C4X got cancelled due to the mid-development cycle. It was supposed that Team Red had shifted its focus over to the large portion of markets, including releasing SKUs that focused on catering to the low to mid segment of the industry. And now statements by AMD SVP and GM of the Computing and Graphics Business Group Huynh has verified this particular stance. AMD has been involved in a race with NVIDIA in the GPU market for quite a long now, and both companies have focused on marketing their respective portfolios as one of the most capable ones out there. Even in keynotes, we often see the flagship models such as RX 7900 XTX and the GeForce RTX 4090 getting more showtime, but this does put the other variant in the lineup under the shadow, and consumers often conclude their views about a particular GPU series based upon how the flagship models stack up. AMD is now avoiding this, which is why the firm believes that it should focus on GPU scaling now, given that this particular segment holds 80% of the market share. Team Red believes that competing with NVIDIA in the enthusiastic segment isn't doing the job for them, and that by switching market targets, the firm can perform impressively. So my number one priority right now is to build skill to get up to 40 to 50% of the market faster. We want to go after 10% of the TAM, total addressable market, or 80%. I am on 80% kind of guy because I don't want AMD to be the company that only people can afford, Porsches and Ferraris can buy. We want to build gaming system for millions of users. Yeah, we will have great products, but we tried the strategy King of the Hill, it hasn't really grown. ATI has tried this King of Hill strategy and the market share has kind of been the market share. I want to build the best products at the right system price point, so think about price point wise we will have leadership. Huynh says that the King of Hill tactic hasn't worked out for AMD, and the firm is eager to build its portfolio that was around being more competitive in terms of the pricing and the value being offered, instead of just mixing out on everything and providing highly priced products. This certainly doesn't mean that Team Red won't compete in the enthusiastic segment, but with the upcoming RX 4000 series SKUs, we will see a different approach, one that might prove to be the moment of the breakout for AMD. If you remember back when Raja Koduri took charge of the Radeon division and formed the RTG, Radeon Technology Group, AMD implemented a similar strategy starting with Polaris and its various offspring in the Radeon RX 400 and 500 series. The first attempt at the high-end lineup, Vega, didn't bond well for the gaming segment but worked well in workstation and HPC segment. The Polaris and Vega generations were mostly driven off the older GCN architecture, while the RDNA GPUs were going to be the first real release of the post-GCN design. The RX 5000 did well, and just like the RX 400 500 series before them, become hot sellers. However, this time AMD followed with a strong RX 6000 series lineup, and everyone was excited for the RX 7000 series, but the final product came short of performance compared to NVIDIA high-end offerings. In fact, AMD stated that they could have made an RTX 4090 equivalent graphics card with the RDNA 3 architecture, but it would have consumed a lot of power and would have been very expensive. The RX 7000 series wasn't a hit compared to the RX 40 series when we look at the earning figures of the both GPU vendors during 2024, with NVIDIA seeing record revenue from GPU sales while AMD gaming side has declined a lot. So to cut it short, it would be AMD's third try to start from the mainstream segment and scale up to high-end and enthusiastic GPU segment. Recently, we reported on how Team Red planned to decorate the RDNA 4 lineup with inspiration being taken from RDNA 1 series, with Navi 48 GFX 1201 SKUs and a few GPUs. Based on the Navi 44, the GFX 1200 planned out. While we are unaware of specific models, we certainly won't be surprised if AMD introduces more budget-oriented models similar to what it sort of did with the RDNA 3 series, with the release of GRE variant that did hit the budget segment. AMD Radeon RX 8000 RDNA 4 GPUs are expected to debut next year at CES, and launch will be followed soon after in the coming month of the first quarter.